Hey, good people, welcome to the channel. I'm Musically Malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. Today, we are taking a look at the 1992 album from Alice in Chains, Alice in Chains, not Alice in Chains, Alice in Chains, titled Dirt. Now, this one was in the running over on Patreon. Every month we host a poll on Patreon, and Patreon members are able to vote in albums we watch on Wednesdays. This one was in the running, but it didn't win. However, I was already really interested in it anyways, as I haven't listened to anything from Alice in Chains. So I'm going to do it here and now. As always, we'll listen to each track. I'll make a few comments along the way, but I'll be keeping notes on my handy dandy notebook here. That way, after each song, we can talk about the things that stand out and just see what insider information we might be able to find out. The tracks and timestamps are in the description, as always. So if you want to go to a specific one, you're welcome to do that, or just press play and hang out with us. It'll be a good time. So we're going to get into it with track 1, titled Them Bones. Okay. Let's see what we're in for. I do believe Alice in Chains falls in the kind of grunge genre. We've done Pearl Jam. We did Nirvana, Nevermind. So we'll see what they have. Here we go. Okay. Started out of the gate. Such a cool driving line. Bum, bum, bum.
I feel so alone, gonna end up a big old pile of them bones. Dust rides right on over my time. Empty fossil of the new scene. I feel so alone, gonna end up a big old pile of them bones.
I loved him moving up the scale like that.
Told you bad dream come true. I lived and gone under red sky. I feel so alone, gonna end up a big old pile of them. I feel so alone, gonna end up a big old pile of them. I feel so alone, gonna end up a big old pile of them bones.
Man, it's always interesting coming into a new artist and just trying to kind of, feel out their sound most of the time. I mean, I'd assume with a band like Alice in Chains, there are probably some songs I'll come across that maybe I've heard or at least heard pieces of, but getting acquainted with the sound, not only musically, but also like the lead singer, which I'm wondering if this is Jerry Cantrell. We'll kind of learn the band members as we go along, but the only writing credit here is Jerry Cantrell, which could be somebody other than lead singer, but traditionally that would be the lead singer. This is probably the biggest guitar solo I've heard in the grunge genre that we've done so far. I've really loved Pearl Jam. This sounds like a much different sound than Pearl Jam, at least for this album. It fits the like art aesthetic and everything here as well, really well. It's this real driving sound. They come out of the gate with it, and a little bit of a dark tone. It sounds like they're speaking about kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? Just like how quickly life goes by. The word frivolness comes to mind with it. Gosh, I can't think of the exact word I'm thinking of, but just this idea of it sounds like speaking to kind of our mortality with this. I am a huge fan of cymbal work on the ride, which what it sounds like it is here. It could be also tapping on the crash or something like that, but it sounds like a good bit of tapping on the ride. Always love that. So we'll see if that'll kind of be a common thing with them, as these driving guitar solos. But let's hop in here, see what we can find out on this very orange screen. It says second single, okay, released in 92 to promote the album. The track deals with a question we all face at one point or another: death and what happens afterwards. Jerry said of the song in a 93 interview with RIP Magazine, "We definitely have a very sarcastic sense of humor, even toward ourselves. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. The music is a way for us to let some serious things out because we're not really talkative people. It's hard for a lot of people to talk about emotions that are really deep pain and hurt, stuff like that. Them Bones is pretty cut and dry. It's a little sarcastic, but it's pretty much about dealing with your mortality and life. Everybody's going to die someday. Instead of being afraid of it, that's the way it is. So enjoy the time you've got." I love that message. "Live as much as you can, have as much fun as possible, face your fear and live. I had family members die at a fairly early age, so I've always had kind of a phobia about it. Death freaks me out. I think it freaks a lot of people out. It's the end of life, depending on your views. It's a pretty scary thing. Them Bones is trying to put that thought to rest. Use what you have left and use it well." There you go, right there, man. Don't waste your days, right? Spend them with wisdom. As well as the interview, Jerry would give more explanation in the liner notes of the compilation album Music Bank. "I was just thinking about mortality, that one of these days we'll end up a pile of bones. It's a thought for every human being. Whether you believe in an afterlife or that when we die, that's it. The thought that all the beautiful things and knowledge and experiences you've been through just end when you end scares me. The thought that when you close your eyes for good, it's gone forever." It looks like some other information. The chromatic riff is played in a time signature of 7/8, except for the chorus, which is in 4/4. When discussing the use of odd time signatures in a 98 interview with Guitar World, Cantrell said, "I really don't know where that comes from. It just comes naturally to me. I could sit down and figure it out, but what's the use? Off-time stuff is just more exciting. It takes people by surprise when you shift gears like that before they even know what hit them. It's also effective when you slow something down and then slam into the dash." Agreed. A lot of Alice stuff is written that way. Them Bones is a great off-time song. Classic. I can't ever live to the East Coast where there's like seasons, reality jobs, and what? Amazing song. I'm not scared of dying, but this song is awesome. Very cool. All right, let's see what else they have in store. This is track 2, titled "Damn That River." Really cool guitar work so far.
Broke you in the canyon. I drowned you in the lake. You think that I would drown
Real aggressive tone. Curious to see what they do if they do some softer stuff. You can hear the bass just doing its thing in the back, just keeping this constant rhythm. Yeah, so like I was saying, you know, I'll be curious to see as well if we get any kind of bass solos, or if the bass is just going to continue to be this kind of foundation that you hear behind. I love bass solos. I love when the bass kind of gets its time to shine. You can definitely tell they're very guitar heavy on a lot of their, or at least the two tracks, not a lot of their tracks so far, very guitar heavy. I'm also, the subject matter within this, curious about the object that it's speaking about, because he keeps saying you, and then obviously the river is the river, you couldn't dam the river, and it washed me so far away. So I don't know, it could be relational, it could still be in the themes of like life and death, and with the idea of the album being called Dirt, I'm curious if a lot of it does center around the idea of mortality, that idea of like from dust you came, to dust you'll return, or man being born from the dirt, the dust of the earth, which is the Genesis narrative. So let's hop over and see. The song has two popular interpretations. One is which Jerry Cantrell and Sean Kinney get into an altercation, and Kinney breaks a coffee table over Cantrell's head. The song is a metaphor for revenge, with the inability to dam the river, symbolizing the uncontrolled bleeding from Cantrell's head. What? The second interpretation of the song being a metaphor for the Green River Killer, who was notorious during the mid-'80s to late '90s. We can't get anybody. Okay, let's see. So tired of the far-fetched interpretations of songs that are straightforward. A lot of Alice songs aren't cryptic. They're pretty forthright. You don't have to search hard for double meanings. Damn That River is about a messy fight in the aftermath. Jerry says this himself. Sean and him had an argument that ended with Sean breaking a coffee table on him. Jerry, he wrote this song to vent his anger afterward, unless he lied outright in the song lyric booklet. Then it has nothing to do with Gary Ridgway and the Green River murders. I think people are looking way too hard into it just because of a tenuous link between the band and the killer to the same state. The fact the song has violent content and the word river is used is pure coincidence. Many lyricists refer to rivers when it comes to emotion. If you want a song about the Green River Killer, go listen to Sir Mix-a-Lot, another Seattle native. He sings about him. Go nuts. I've never heard of the Green River Killer. So first, let's take a look at Alice in Chains. I know a lot of times these grunge bands, well, I guess just bands in general, especially ones that have longer careers, the members can change quite a bit. So Lane Staley, lead vocalist. Jerry Cantrell is lead guitar, which is the guy who has been having the writing credits. But it was saying Sean, right? Sean and Jerry maybe had the argument. Jerry, Sean, and him. Okay. So the band's lineup consisted of vocalist, guitarist Jerry Cantrell and Willem Duvall, bassist Mike Inez, and drummer Sean Kinney. Vocalist Lane Stanley and bassist are former members of the band. Okay. So let's take a look at Green River Killer. Known as the Gary Ridgway, known as the Green River Killer, or the Stranglers, an American serial killer who was convicted of murdering 49 women. Jeez! Between 1982 and 1998? In the northwestern United States? Wild. Okay. Might have to check up on that later. Still alive. 77 years old. I want to keep looking at him. Hey, get off my screen. That's wild. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's go to track 3, titled Rain When I Die. Oh, there we go, a little bass. Creating a really wild soundscape with this. Man, it gives this feeling of like hellish landscape, like the cover art. I love when people match those like vocal melodies to the guitar melody. This sounds relational. Is that a pedal or a whammy bar creating that effect? Got to see a live version of this to see what this guitarist is doing. Dude, I love what the drummer's doing. That cymbal work again. Get the long fade out. What? Is this a transition? We'll let it play through the next one to see if it's a transition. No, no transition. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you want access to hundreds of hours of additional content from dozens of artists, then check out my Patreon. That's where we host music videos, live performances, exclusive live streams, behind the scenes content, documentaries, and you get the ability to help vote on the albums we listen to here on the channel. Patreon is the best way to support this channel, and you can get access to the entire library, past, present, and future for just $5. Join the amazing community that we're building over there, and I try to make it worth your time and your money. All right, let's get back into it. All right, probably one of the most technical or layered songs we've heard so far. I'm sure there's some great live footage from the band, so we'll work to get that up on Patreon. But man, there's so many interesting things going on there with the guitars. Love that it opened with that bass line. The drums were killer throughout it. And then obviously lyrically, it definitely sounds like it's relationship wise, but you know, a lot of times songs that sound like they're about relationships are usually about something else, but we'll see. All right, this says the lyrics to Rain When I Die were written by Jerry and Lane about their respective girlfriends. Let's see. Is she ready to know my frustration? What she's slipping inside, slow castration. I'm a riddle so strong you can't break me. Did she come here to try to take me? So it almost sounds like this idea of, I don't know, struggling within a relationship and feeling like you're being castrated, and you are kind of this riddle, this person that's hard to fully understand. And did she try to come to understand me, or try to maybe take me, like make me into somebody else? Did she call my name? I think it's gonna rain when I die. It did in fact rain on Lane's approximate death, so Lane passed away. for about 2 hours. However, because he lived in Seattle, there was a good chance of rain. Besides, Lane hopes that he will be free after he dies. Stevie Nicks, a Fleetwood Mac, said about her song, is the idea of it raining when you die, is that like, will people feel sad? Like, is it going to be a sad day when you die? I wonder if that's the connection. Because it almost sounds like it would be a common saying, but it's not one I'm familiar with. But when I think about the idea of obviously rain, you think about dark skies, you think about gloom, you think about sadness, and maybe even in the idea of somebody else's life, like, is it going to be like a rainy day, the day that you die, or is it going to be like a sunny day, or like they just don't really care? Curious if that's what it's leaning toward. Was it something I said held against me? Ain't no life on the run, slowly climbing. Caught in ice, so she stares at nothing. So it is this idea of maybe emotional despondency, being ice cold. So she's staring at me, but staring at nothing. I can help her, but won't. Now she hates me. So it does sound like there's this idea of like struggling with the inner emotions and how to work that out within a relationship. And so she's just kind of staring at you. But you don't really know what to give back. And like maybe I can help her in the sense of like I could help her understand how I'm feeling or what's going on within me, but I won't. And because of that, now she hates you, despises you, which is an interesting thing, you know, within relationships. Because I don't think that you should get in a relationship to try to change a person. I think that's a very dangerous place to get in, you know. The other dangerous thing is not actually knowing a person for real, like who they truly are before you make a commitment, especially one like getting married, you know. But there are things about people that we don't really know until you're married, you know, or until you're, you know, with them all day, every day. You go to sleep next to them, you wake up next to them. There are things you'll learn, but the deeper things of their character and who they are as a person, what they're trying to achieve in life, and all those things, I think you should definitely know before you take a step like that. And then people change, you know, over time. But the hope would be you don't get in a relationship to change a person, but that through relationship, you both do change. You know, the best parts of my wife have taught me things, and the best parts of me have taught her things. And so that's interesting. But I can also relate to that idea of like not really knowing how to convey your feelings. And that can be frustrating, you know, for somebody who wants to know, wants to be on the inside. If you have a hard time like letting them in, I prefer to deal with things internally, you know, so that when I give an answer or take an action, I've kind of already worked it out in my mind. Kind of like playing chess, you know, you think about all the pieces. If you move this, if you say this, if you do this, if you whatever, then okay, now that's the right move to make. Because if I do this, they're going to do that, you know. But sometimes it's like you have to let the other person in, and that's just part of relationship. But it doesn't mean you have to fundamentally change as a person. You just work in how to meet each other in the middle, right? All right. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Always enjoy that. Let's go to track 4, titled Down in a Hole. Oh, I love this. Almost sounds like depression. Oh, that's a cool line. Like hot pizza. See, especially that sentiment, I'd like to fly, but feeling like you can't. You know, people in a state of depression, they don't want to stay there. It just sometimes feels like I don't know how to get out. This is beautiful. Rare flowers in a tomb, in bloom. Oh yeah, give me a moody guitar solo outro. Those angsty guitar solos always make me think of like Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson. All right, I could be way off, but a lot of that sounds like this feeling of depression, especially, we'll try to see if we can get to the bottom of it, this idea of rare flowers in bloom, in a tomb, in bloom. Feels too like, here's the reality, every person has value, right? And sometimes, if not always, in a place of depression, you feel like you don't. You have no value. But the reality is you do. You have these rare flowers, these things to offer, and they may be in bloom, but if you feel like you're in a tomb, like they can't serve anybody in a tomb. They can't be seen in a tomb. And that is, I think, what's really sad, right? About people in that place, or people that choose to take their life in that place, is they had these rare flowers. Yeah, it makes me so sad thinking about it. These things in bloom that they weren't able to show everybody. And so, as always, encourage you to keep living, keep seeing tomorrow, because eventually you will find yourself out of that tomb, that depression, that dark place, that place of death, and you have something valuable to give to the world. So don't rob the world of what you have to give, but don't rob yourself of joy in getting to give it. Let's go see what we can find out here. Keep having to pop out because when I go in, it puts it in this like different album. It's a love song to the love of his life, Courtney Clark. Early pressings listed as the 12th track, later pressings listed as the 4th. Supposedly fit better with the band's desire to have the album loosely tell a story from song to song. What he said was, Down in a Hole is in my top 3 personally. It's to my longtime love. It's the reality of my life. The path I've chosen, in a weird way, it kind of foretold where we are right now. It's hard for us to both understand that this life is not conducive to much success with long-term relationships. That's interesting. So maybe it's this feeling of like, I want to give something to you, but I feel like down in this hole. So I think that the thing, okay, sorry, I just threw a bunch of stuff on my desk. I think the sentiment that I shared can work in that way. Like I said, I could be way off, so take that for what it is. But if you turn it to that relational aspect, I could see that idea of feeling down in a hole, feeling like there's all this stress coming upon our relationship. I have these things I want to give to you, but I feel like I can't. Let's see. Is there an MTV Unplugged? This says the Unplugged version is truly amazing, but I love that whole performance. The chorus lyrics are slightly different when they do the Unplugged show. Because I loved Pearl Jams. I loved Pearl Jams. I haven't watched Nirvana's yet because there's some songs they perform on it that I haven't heard yet. The change in lyrics really make a difference in the performance. Losing my soul, losing control. Then final chorus, feeling so small, losing my soul, out of control. These guys make you wonder what happened to music. See, somebody said, I've always felt this song's more about the whole depression you can't escape when life runs out of color and taste and whatever, but in the end, it's just you burying yourself. Yeah, this person thinks, I've eaten the sun, my tongue has been burned of the taste. First time you do drugs. That's interesting. I wonder, it could also have to do with, the idea of fame, eating the sun and having been burned of the taste. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that line, because obviously it could be about a lot of things, but if it's fitting in with the song relationally, we'll see what this annotation says. So this does continue to push forward that idea of drugs or anything someone would find pleasurable. This life is not conducive to much success with long-term relationships. I've eaten the sun, so my tongue has been burned of the taste. I don't know, even this down in a hole and they've put all the stones in their place, that could continue to push that idea of stardom, of fame, and all these stones are being put in place, and just recognizing that this relationship is almost doomed. Let me know your thoughts. All right, let's press into track 5, titled Sickman.
What the hell am I? Thousand eyes are blind, lucky then I'd be in one day to see Sickman, 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 Sickman.
Oh, cool. Okay, into halftime.
But I can't stare.
Okay, feeling a little out of control, maybe emotionally. Let's pick it up again. He's got that same kind of like anger that Eddie Vedder puts forward at times, especially in his young age. Wow. Okay. I can't tell if it's trying to tell two different people's perspectives, or if it's trying to convey two kind of sets of emotion, because especially when he mentioned the word raped, because it makes me wonder, is this the inner turmoil of someone who has suffered from that? and there's this rage and anger. Even the idea of like basically like I can, what do you say, something like I can feel the wheel, but I can't control it, like, because it could be that idea of somebody who has been assaulted in that way can feel powerless. And so there's kind of this rage portion of it, and then this sadness during the double or halftime. Or is it the perspective of somebody who feels out of control from their not emotions, impulses? It's not giving a pass to that person. You are always in control, but people that usually act upon those things feel this feeling that they just felt like they couldn't control. So, is it telling that? And then from the perspective of the person who was assaulted, or it could not be about either of those things. Let's go take a look. But man, what an effective song. All right, let's see. Like many songs on the album, Sickman is written from the perspective of a man in the clutches of depression and drug abuse. This particular song examines the horrific thoughts he experiences and his struggles to not let them overwhelm him. The liner notes, Cantrell says the song came together after Staley asked Cantrell to write him the sickest tune, the sickest, darkest, most effed up, and heaviest thing Cantrell could write. Okay, there's just a lot of speaking about kind of the genre. Let's go see if we can find anything out in the annotations. Oh, there's nothing really here. Let's see. A very in-your-face metaphor here about losing control of their own life, in this case due to drug addiction and depression. I can feel the wheel, which we kind of talked about that idea, right, of like wanting to fly when I was referencing it in the other one. I can feel the wheel, but I can't steer. The protagonist is able to recognize what is going on and is well aware things are falling apart, especially when my thoughts become my biggest fear. That place of feeling like you can't rein in your thoughts and being left alone to your thoughts, whether that is like you're trying to overcome an addiction, and when you have time to kind of be quiet, it begins to speak to you and tell you like you should do this, or it's not a big deal, or you really want this, and you have to engage in that like internal struggle. But that also is the same thing with depression, right? A lot of songs that have this idea of depression talk about the silence is violence, or this place of fear in the silence because you're left alone to yourself. But they are no longer in control. They've taken a back seat as their thoughts grow stronger and stronger. Their influence takes over, becomes the protagonist's biggest fear. As we can see in pre-chorus 2, you could say the protagonist has accepted the situation, just waiting for death to come and clear their head. Yeah, so I was tracking with that. It was just this one line kind of threw me off. Yea, though I walk through the valley of rape and despair. Detroit? Okay, that would be really interesting if it was meant to like speak to a geographic area. With head high and eyes alert. Oh, I tread on a plane of many, we who are of good nature and intention, but cannot touch on the dark recesses of memory and pain learn, so come walk with me, feel the pain and release it. Wild, man. All right, let's check out track 6, titled Rooster. They're doing a great job kind of mixing up the songs, creating a really interesting pacing. PTSD?
Yeah, they come to snuff the rooster.
Oh, I love the way they sang that.
Yeah, here come the rooster.
And the harmonies, man, they're so good.
You know he ain't gonna die. No, no, no. You know he ain't gonna die.
They're using is this a wah-wah pedal? Because it's pretty consistent. And it's such a cool sound. That like wah 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 wah.
Yeah, they come to snuff the rooster.
Sounds like a Guitar Hero song.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, here come the rooster. Yeah. You know he ain't gonna die. No, no, no. You know he ain't gonna die. Walking tall machine gun man.
Oh, okay.
They spit on me and my
It definitely sounds like perspective of soldier.
lawyer sent me pictures of my boy. Got my
Wonder if it's speaking about Vietnam.
to death. My buddy's
Pills against malaria.
his dying breath. Oh God, please, won't you help me make it through? Here they come to snuff the rooster. Ah, yeah. Yeah, here come the rooster. Yeah. You know he ain't gonna die. No, you know he ain't gonna die.
Oh, I love that. Wow. Okay. Man. All right. Definitely seems, I can't tell if it was speaking of PTSD, like a soldier who's come home, but it also sounds like it's in real time. And the idea of this rooster, because a rooster, I think most prominently would be like the herald of a new day, the herald of the morning. And so it could be this idea of if an enemy has come to snuff the rooster, it sounds like the idea of death to like stop you from experiencing a new day, stop the morning from arriving, which obviously would be figurative, not literal. So let's go see what we can find out. But what a cool song just all around. It says Rooster, 4th single, highest charting from the album, okay, tracks. It was written by guitarist Jerry Cantrell for his father, Jerry Cantrell Sr., who went by the nickname Rooster, okay, while serving with the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. Jerry Cantrell has stated that his father had the family nickname Rooster since childhood due to the way his hair stood up on end as a youth. Some have stated the song name refers to the 101st Airborne and its patch, which is the screaming eagle, and that the Vietnamese, not familiar with a bald eagle, called all members of the 101st roosters or chickens, but Cantrell has never confirmed this. During a 92 interview, in response to the question, do you feel you communicated with your father with this song? He said, yeah, he's heard the song. He's only seen us play once, and I played this song for him when we were in the club opening for Iggy Pop. I'll never forget it. He was standing in the back, and he heard all the words and stuff. Of course, I was never in Vietnam, and he won't talk about it. But when I wrote this, it felt right. Like these were things he might have felt or thought. And I remember when we played it, he was back by the soundboard, and I could see him, back there with his big gray Stetson and his cowboy boots. He's a total Oklahoma man. And at the end, he took his hat off, just held it in the air. He was crying the whole time. Wow, gosh. Whew. Song means a lot to me. A lot. I like these guys, man. It was the start of the healing process between my dad and I from all that damage that Vietnam caused. This was all my perception of his experiences out there. First time I ever heard him talk about it was when we made the video, and he did a 45-minute interview with Mark Pellington. I was amazed he did it. Go, Dad. He was totally cool, totally calm, accepted it all, and had a good time doing it. It even brought him to the point of tears. It was beautiful. He said it was a weird experience, sad experience, and he hoped nobody else had to go through it. Okay, let me see if I can find that interview, because if I can, that would be something amazing to watch over on Patreon. What did we say? His name? Jerry Cantrell Sr. Jerry Cantrell Sr. Vietnam interview. So this is a shorter video. It said Mark Pellington. Oh, look. Rick Beato has an interview with Jerry Cantrell. Save. What, Mark Pellington? Doesn't look like the interview is here, but this could be interesting. Wow, man. So great, you know, to write it and like want to communicate something to your father and it actually land. Okay. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is track 7, titled Junkhead. This definitely sounds like a drug-fueled song. Because he like used his own product. But it sounds like it's bigger than just drugs. It's this line of not going broke and doing it a lot that feels like it's not just about actual drugs. But I've been wrong on most every song, so it's almost like this need for attention, fame being the drug of choice. And you can do it a lot as an artist, especially. Sorry, I'm talking through the solo. Got me thinking. I'm intrigued. Okay, so it could be very simply about drugs, but like I was saying, it could also be this idea of, you know, people having a drug of choice not actually being drugs, whether that's the need for attention, or food. I mean, you know, you can name a lot of different things. that we try to like seek a high on. And if you are an artist and you essentially make a living off of fame, then there is that side that's kind of like, I never go broke and I do it a lot. I get my drug a lot, but it doesn't really cost me anything. In fact, I'm like making money on it. So let's check it out. Jerry and Lane wrote this. It was their way of expressing their thoughts on drug abuse, how you can understand the mind of a drug user unless you are one yourself. Unfortunately, Lane died of a drug overdose. That's sad. More specifically, he meant that only an addict could understand another addict, understand the hellish pull that heroin has on a user's brain. What sets this commentary apart from most is that it also acknowledges just how fantastic an opiate high really is. Yeah, it's like, it's not denying that it doesn't have its fun, but, you know, at what cost? Must admit it's hard to enjoy this song as much as I do on Others on Dirt, considering how Lane died. Yeah, most people share this sentiment. You know, which in some ways it is a cautionary tale, you know, of what you allow into your life, you know. And again, there could be a number of different things, but what we open the gate to in our lives, because once you've introduced something, it becomes almost an uphill battle to push that thing out and shut the gate back, right? Okay. Let's move into track 8, which is also the title track for this album, Dirt. They're doing the thing I like. Dude, if they keep speeding up, that'd be cool. Every track is so unique, even though they share this common soundscape. Is that the idea of maybe suicide, connecting to the pistol and having to scrape someone from the walls? dude. Oh, he's just talking with that guitar. Also talk about how smooth their vocals are. Shut up. In a good way. Whoa. Listen, I have obviously there's a lot of music I haven't heard. And for the longest time I thought Paint It Black was a Black Sabbath song because it just seemed to make sense in my head. I believe it's by the Rolling Stones, who I've not got into yet. Looking forward to getting there. But I remember Paint It Black, and I don't know if somebody else did a cover of it. I just remember playing Twisted Metal Black. Do you guys remember this game? I think it was for the PS2. I played Twisted Metal back on PlayStation 1, and then when it came out on PS2, this one. Twisted Metal Black, dude. But Paint It Black was the theme song from this. And I just remember like loving that. It was so dark. And Twisted Metal itself is actually a pretty dark game, even though it's like you drive these vehicles that have weapons on them, but they're all like in this competition and they're murderers and crazy people and stuff. Twisted Metal Paint It Black. Yeah, okay. The Rolling Stones 1966 classic Paint It Black. Anyways, I don't know why this kind of conjures up that same feeling for me. It's just that dark and like it's I don't know, just everything's kind of drawn out. Gosh, and that guitar solo in there, this song. And I feel like sometimes there's a bit of pressure when you're talking about a title track. Freaking crushed it, dude. Suicide, murder, revenge, drug addiction, depression. This song has it all. The raw negative emotions in this song are overwhelming, compounded by the sounds of the heavy, ominous guitars and dragging, sluggish rhythm. Maybe that's when I say drawn out. That's good. Dragging. Actually, Cindy, you are wrong. Yes, Cindy, suck it. Lane Staley wrote the lyrics to most of Alice in Chains songs. Jerry Cantrell wrote most of the music. Each of them has individual full credits for songs as well as shared credit. But Lane wrote the lyrics to more songs than Jerry Cantrell. This is easy to verify. Cindy. What did Cindy say? I'm invested now. There's a lot going on here. Oh, Cindy. I think it's interesting how everyone attributes all the lyrics to Lane when Jerry C is actually the brains behind the band and did most of the lyrics. -28? Is this, we don't show the downvotes anymore, or are these downvotes? I don't care how sad the song is, the beat deserves to be on a sex playlist. Song almost painfully relatable, not including the whole drug situation, more of the thing about suicide. Okay, so I did pick up on that, but it was talking about a bunch of different themes throughout it. I was really kind of stuck on the musical side of it. Amazing. All right, I'm interested about track 9. If I'll recognize this one or not. Godsmack? Is there a band called Godsmack? Because I have heard the term or the word, those two words together. Okay, so there is an actual band called Godsmack. Which I don't know why this makes me think of who was it? Was it Goldsmack? Wasn't there a wrestler? Yeah, dude, I don't know why it makes me think of this. Gold Dust. Man, I used to love playing some Gold Dust when I don't know what, I think Nintendo 64, maybe WWE SmackDown or something like that. I mean, totally unrelated, but when I think of Godsmack, I can't, for whatever reason, I think of Gold Dust. All right, let's check it out. This is track number 9, titled Godsmack. Okay, I have not heard this kind of delivery yet. Is this somebody different leading? Takes us back to that driving from like the first song. Just chaos. Drug reference. Yeah, the direction for this one was just write me something crazy and manic. Oh, okay. Wow. I get it, you guys. I don't know why I was thinking Godsmack is one word. Is that how... I know we just looked at it. Is that how the band... Yeah, because the band does it as one word. But I'm assuming, at least from the song, that it's saying smack, which is, would smack be heroin? Drugs in general takes the place of God for some people. It is what they worship. It is what they give their devotion to. It is what they think about, dream about, praise. It is what their life, they put it at the center of their life, and it affects everything else. And saying that drugs being as a god. Did Godsmack get their name from this song? Origin of band name Godsmack. Godsmack's name has two distinct origin stories. While the band famously took the name from the 1992 Alice in Chains song Godsmack, frontman Sully Erna also shared a personal karma story. Erna was making a fun of a bandmate for having a cold sore on his lip, only to wake up with the exact same sore the following day. Someone remarked it was God smacking him for his mockery, and the name stuck. That also makes me wonder, was God smack a term, like God smacking you, but then Alice in Chains took it and turned it into something else? Term has origins as a colloquialism in a song title. Gobsmacked. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it came. I don't know if it was used before. Because I was wondering, did Alice in Chains take a word that had been, an idea that had been used of God smacking you, but call it like God as smack? I think you guys get what I'm saying. Let's go take a look. Oh, maybe this is what I was looking for. Term Godsmack is a colloquialism for heroin overdose, fitting given the lyrical content of the song and most of the album. There's speculation the band Godsmack got their name from this song, but the band has denied this. Interesting. Let me know in the comments if you know. And here the trilogy of the drug ends, having started on Junkhead. I love the overwhelming vocal vibrato in the verses. Unique, different than the rest for the band, it is common. Rest in peace, Alice in Chains. Did they stop when the lead singer passed away? Okay. Well, that was man, we found a lot of interesting things out. But yeah, they totally delivered that completely different, making me even wonder if it was the same person singing it. All right, I don't know if this is I'm assuming this is an instrumental or some sort of interlude for track 10, which we have a total of 13 tracks on this album. This one does not have any lyrics. It's 44 seconds long. So we may look into it at the end, or we may just let the next song play and then we'll see what was going on here. But this is track 10, which is titled Untitled. Warning. It's like a wrestler intro. Okay, we'll take a look at it in a minute. Let's let the next track play. Almost sound like you said red rum. Like from The Shining. Going up and down. The first profanity. Dude, there's some of the most unique and interesting writing, musically and lyrically. I wonder if it's meant to give this feeling of these highs and lows, ups and downs. I mean, it sounds like another drug track. Wow, used to be curious, now it's substance. Wow. It's like one of those solos that plays when a person's on drugs and like standing on the edge of a balcony, like in Forrest Gump. Jenny. This definitely feels a lot harder than a lot of the grunge albums I've heard. When I've seen people mention metal, feels leaning that way.
Now the ship sustenance. All this time I swore I'd never be like my old man. What the heck, it's time to face exactly who I am. I can see it, I can feel it. Hate to see it, hate to feel it. I can see it, I can feel it. Hate to see it.
Picking it up, like driving during this section. Oh my gosh, dude. What a killer closing to that song. You could just feel it, dude. Oh, that was wild. All right, let me see what I can find here. Interesting. So here in Genius, the Untitled track says Iron Gland. But this is not, I mean, it is the same. I am Iron Gland. Oh, they did say Red Rum. Red Rum. Red Rum. Iron Gland is probably the most interesting song on Dirt, as in the track list. On the back of the album, its 10th track position doesn't have a title and is left blank. The album's sheet music book lists as instrumental, but is officially known as Iron Gland. The voice in the song was provided by Tom Araya, bassist and vocalist for Slayer. Does that mean now we got to get to some Slayer? WTF. Okay. Maybe it's just not for you. Iron Bland is a song by American rock band Alice in Chains written by Jerry Cantrell and appears on their second album, Dirt. Iron Gland is probably the most interesting song on Dirt. Did you mean to say this two different ways? And it's just quoting. Maybe this is what made it into the description. This affirmation is strikingly similar to the intro of Iron Man by Black Sabbath. In that song, an eerie voice proudly declares, I am Iron Man. Also against a wail of bending guitar chords. We all know it's murder spelled backwards. Dude, I just recently watched The Shining last year, and when, he kept saying Red Rum, I was like, what? But then when they actually wrote it out, and I was like, and if I remember correctly, I think there was a mirror shot, so you could see the reflection in the mirror, so it read correctly. And I was like, it says murder. Dude, it was kind of a little unsettling. All right, and then moving on to the other track 11. Hate to Feel. This heavy grungy track was one of two. Angry Chair was the other, written solely by Lane Stanley, also featuring him on guitar. That's all we get? Okay. Oh, again, a lot of pride in seeing Lane grow as a guitarist and songwriter to create something so heavy. He's always been so honest in his songs, which is like all of us. We don't BS in our music. We always pushed each other to say it as it needed to be said. We've always been fully for letting it all out. Yeah, I loved the intensity on it. Those backing vocals sound like Kurt sometimes. The decreasing severity exclamation represents the diminishing experience of emotion, growing apathy that coincides with sinking into a major depressive episode. Interesting, man. All right. We are moving to the penultimate track. This is track 12, titled Angry Chair. I love the guitar strokes with those. It's like looking in a mirror. Oh, it's just like being in timeout. Yeah, it sounds like a kid being disciplined. Almost likening like a kid in timeout to being this prison of corporate.
Cry.
Dude, so interesting. I do feel like what he's trying to communicate is, which is funny if it is, this like adult view of the rage going on within a child that's in timeout, but then connecting that to feeling like an adult that's been sat in a chair, you know? And then I also wonder like the drum outro, because if that's the way they're going, especially, you know, maybe corporate control over these bands, especially at this time, like 1992, dude, there was so much happening. 1990, 91, 92, 93, just so many great bands coming up in this surge in music. And so, you know, there are people that want to capitalize on that movement, you know, find the next grunge band and commercialize everybody. But that's like completely what they're not. They are like a rebellion to that. And so, you know, if I wonder if that drum outro, it sounds great, but it almost sounds like kind of a commercial beat. Dun, 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 ka, dun, dun, ka, dun, 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 ka. I think that's something like what it was like. If it was kind of trying to say like almost like a middle finger to it, and to an extent, does that make sense? Could be reading more into it than is actually there, but that would be really interesting. Let's see. Angry Chair. Looks like we got some good information here. The 12th and penultimate track, concept of Angry Chair noted in the song, comes from AIC vocalist Lane Staley's, I hope I'm saying that right, Staley's childhood. His father would put him in timeout by sitting him in a chair in front of the mirror. Okay, cool, called that. Angry Chairs in the song, though, is clearly metaphorical. The lyrics are discussing adulthood. I'm a dull boy, work all day, so I'm strung out anyway. Reference to the all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy proverb. Kind of connects to Red Rum. Corporate prison might be a reference to the band working for a record label, which was still relatively new at that point. They cut their first EP, We Die Young, 2 years earlier in July 1990. This was also around the same time that Staley is suspected to have fallen into the early stages of heroin addiction, which adds context to the line, so I'm strung out anyway. Staley's philosophy was that songs should be autobiographical to resonate emotionally. It's not much of a stretch to tie his words to the life he was living at that time. This is a rare Alice in Chains song, written entirely by vocalist Lane Staley. Jerry Cantrell was the main songwriter, and most of Staley's credits were as co-writer. Cantrell has stated that he was proud of Staley's work on this. This is also the first song that Staley played guitar on in the recording. In the book Alice in Chains, The Untold Story, engineer Brian Karlstrom says he layered 16 tracks of vocals for the song, all different harmonies and multiple layers of harmonies. This was painstaking work with the technology available at the time. In addition to its initial release on Dirt, Angry Chair has been included on Alice in Chains' compilation album Greatest Hits. Such a brilliant song. I'm very proud of Lane for writing it. When I've stepped up vocally in the past, he's been so supportive. Here was a fine example of him stepping up with the guitar and writing a masterpiece. So it looks like there's a lot of official videos, so we'll work to get those on Patreon. Thought it was about an abusive father figure at first. Nobody can say what the angry chair is, the red candles, the Clayman changing his face. Looking at yourself in a mirror and crying is not something only dope users do. The biggest, most important lines are not annotated. Little boy made a mistake. Being the biggest now, I will admit, the last of these lines might be referring to retching into a toilet. I don't buy the 12-step program explanation. Oh, I mean, I didn't really feel like there was a huge tie to drugs within the song. Somebody else, personally, I think it was disillusionment with the music industry, angry walls that steal the air. Could be about him being in the recording booth. Man, a lot of interesting things I hadn't considered other people put in there. Okay, here we go. Time to see how they choose to close out this really incredible album. This is track 13, Would, W-O-U-L-D, with a question mark. Would? Would? love it. Oh, it sounds like this was the outro from the last song, the drum portion. I love this, dude. It's the kind of chugga chugga. Man, okay. What a great closing track, at least musically from them. Like, just felt so crisp, and it pulled on a lot of the like great themes and sounds that they had going on throughout the album. Just in this real tight package here at the end. All right. We'll see if this is true, but the song concerns the late lead singer of Mother Love Bone, Andrew Wood, who died of a heroin overdose in 1990. Wood and wood are homophones. The final question: if people had given him more help, would he have accepted it? Becoming addicted to heroin happened to him. Could it happen to you too? Okay, so it's this idea of driving into this flood of addiction. Mind is rooted in belief he cannot get rid of his addiction any longer to eventually harm him. It's a question if he could be wrong to worry his loved ones by taking the drugs and harming himself. Go too far into addiction to get home. Man, I wish we had some stuff straight from the band toward this. Despite being dedicated to a different person, it's such a sadly ironic song. If I think the last verse is meant to be taken as if I would Andy Wood could overdose, could you? Wow. Okay. Some closing thoughts here. Alice in Chains freaking rocks. Number one. I'm happy to say that I did not recognize a single song on this album. You know, usually when I get into these, there's at least one song that's like, oh, okay, because it, you know, just permeates the mainstream so much that you would have heard it, but I didn't recognize a single song on this album. So that was fun. Great discovery. I mentioned this throughout the React, there is a great consistent sound throughout this album. It's very dark, these driving guitars, beautiful solos, but this kind of wah-wah sound. The drummer's just doing an incredible job all throughout. You get these great like bass lines, you know, that are going on consistently, but there's a few times it's almost like the curtains are pulled back in a few songs or a few intros. You get to hear the bass really well, and I always love that. Huge fan of the bass. So this great consistent sound throughout the entire album. They really nailed that. But every song to me felt very unique, because sometimes you get this really consistent sound and everything kind of starts to sound the same, even though the words are different and maybe put a little bit different. But I felt like there was a very unique sound in every single song, sometimes in the delivery, sometimes just completely in the music, and also really beautiful writing, even if it has to do with kind of darker tones, you know, and some real serious things. It's really beautiful writing. Very thought-provoking. So all in all, really enjoyed my first experience with Alice in Chains. Dirt. It looks like they have made... So it looks like they have continued to make some music. You had Facelift in 1990. Then Dirt, 92. Alice in Chains, so self-titled album in 95. A little three-legged dog. Black Gives Way to Blue, 2009. The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. That's wild. 2013. And then Rainier Fog, 2018. So we'll see. I'm sure we'll dip into some other albums as we move forward. As always, thanks for hanging out and for watching. We'll work to get all of the live performances and music videos up on Patreon and interviews. We'll do a little digging into that video about his father. I'm hoping, I've seen people mention MTV Unplugged. I'm hoping that we get one featuring songs from Dirt. Let's see, MTV Unplugged, Alice in Chains. So it looks like there are songs on it outside of Dirt, which means I'll probably wait to watch that until I've, heard all of those songs. But let me know your thoughts on the album, some of the standouts for you. If there's anything that you saw that you feel differently about or want to elaborate on, always love having a conversation in the comments. So if you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy one of these other ones. But thanks for hanging out with me. I hope to see you in the next one. Reading good.